Howdy, everybody. I'm looking forward to get to happy hour too. So I'll start off with this, is that everybody here's Vox Media and they know about Vox.com. It turns out that we have a bunch of different brands. We started in sports, SB Nation. We also do The Verge, which is a technology site, Polygon, which is video games, Racked, which is fashion, Eater, food, Curbed, real estate, and we just acquired a company called Recode, which does technology business, and we'll keep going. Who knows when we'll stop. All right, I'm going to talk about innovation, what it means at digital news. We've been doing most of this around Vox.com, but it's actually rooted in everything that we've been doing from the very beginning. We started as a sports site, as I said. We're founded by bloggers. We're very product-driven. So, you know, what I want to talk to you all today about is really more about how we think about news as a product and how we take a more technology approach to that. So when we talk about innovation, a lot of times it's like, what's the big new fancy thing? Like, what is going to make everybody be excited about it? That's actually, I mean, that's cool, and we do lots of fancy things, but I'm actually a lot more interested in innovation in a different way. I think things that are really innovative, like really are going to move digital news and make an impact, no matter what the goal is. If that's civic engagement, that's great. Here's the things that I think a lot about. Is it fast? Can we make it reusable? Can we make it a sustainable business? And can we focus on users? Let's start with, we're developing products. How do we start with who our users are and how we serve them? What's the value that we provide to them? That's how we develop products that actually matter and increase engagement and change things. Because here's the thing I think about is that innovation is really not just about new things. Innovation is about making change. How do we actually innovate and move things forward in a meaningful way? Now, don't get me wrong. We like to make fancy things, and we're always hacking and building stuff. And Vox Media is a technology company that's constantly doing that. But we do root it in these things that I just talked about. So first, I just want to talk about something that's really important. I'm going to go really fast here because it's about being fast. Fast is a feature. So when we're building things in news, our sites have to be fast. And this is really critical. It's not just like developing native apps. Those are fast too. But the web is under threat because it's not fast enough. And we really care about democratizing media than we care about the web, full stop. And so we need to make the web faster, and media companies have made their sites too slow. That's just a fact. So here's the thing that's really important also when we're trying to convey information in media. This is some Google research that if it takes longer than a second, people tune out, they drop out, and they move on. That's 1 second. That's how fast it has to be. So fast as a feature is a really important thing about innovation. And so if you're not innovating around that, it doesn't matter. Let's talk about focusing on the user. This is from a native app called Secret. I don't know if any of y'all have ever used that. It's where people can just share things anonymously. This is something that was shared in San Francisco, and what it is talking about is somebody just saying something out loud for other people to see, and they said, you know what, like, here's the deal. I'm reading the news, I see all the latest stuff, but I don't even really know what's going on, and I need to kind of solve that. So when we started Vox, had a mission, which is how do we put the news into context, right? How do we help people explain what's going on? How do we solve this user need right here? So we created something called Card Stacks, which is basically an explainer put into a format that is a product designed to live on mobile and is really easy and consumable, works really well across social. Some interesting facts for y'all real quick. 23% of our traffic is to Card Stacks, but the most interesting thing is that 63% of the people who come in through Card Stacks return over and over and over again. And again, we're building loyal audiences that we're informing, so that's really important. Iterate, iterate, iterate. That's how we build those things. Reusability. We build all these tools for our reporters. They're quizzes that we just talked about, Talia just mentioned. Features, images, all these things. How do we make them reusable? It takes 1 to 2 weeks, then it takes 3 days, and by the end we've got it 1 day and we can put the tools in the hands of our reporters and they can use them over and over again. Reusable tools is innovation. So we built a platform, we open sourced it, it's called AutoTune. You can actually go look it up, product.voxmedia.com, so that you can share tools for if you're doing media. And if you're not doing media, you can use these things too. Here's the last thing, actually second last. Org chart is a design document. Organization matters. How you build your company and how you organize it matters. You want to have collaboration between designers, developers, reporters, all these different people. So you have to think about this. That's innovation, is just to think about it. Teams organized around users. The magic is right there. Content, advertising, product. In the middle. See, that's Venn diagram. Sweet. Last thing I want to leave y'all with, and this is really important. I think this is one of the biggest things that's about to hit us, is thinking about mobile. So this is fully 91% of teens go online. We all understand this, great. Teens use phones. They're using them all the time. Y'all may have seen this Pew research. It's fascinating to me because they're just using the phone every single day. 80% of the people, teens who have it, are texting, and they send on average 50 texts a day. The more interesting thing to me is this right here. I think this is going to be fascinating. Everybody should be getting their head around it. Messaging apps like Kik or WhatsApp, and I don't know if y'all have used these, they're really interesting, have caught on. 33% of teens with phones have these apps, right? And Hispanic and African American youth are substantially more likely, and as we're trying to engage all of our electorate, this is really critical, right? So here's the interesting thing for media companies and for everybody to think about. How do you engage in messaging platforms, right? So this is the thing I've been thinking a lot about, is mobile is now becoming messaging. And here's the last part. How do you provide news service on a messaging platform? And I think this is why it's really interesting and exciting, because we can have conversations. We can design our products as conversations rather than just pushing things out, and we can learn from our audience as much as we're delivering service to them. That's it. Thanks, y'all.